Hello everyone, it's Lily and today I'll be making a video on games that you can play on Halloween. Now the reason why I'm making this video is because Halloween isn't as easy to celebrate nowadays. Like before, you could just go out partying, go to dress up places and like trick or treat or do whatever you do on Halloween. But it's a bit difficult now with still some social distancing and stuff implemented. However, games you can play on your own indoors and you're not bothering anyone. So, coming up with a bunch of games that are Halloweeny, as I'm going to be referring to them, romancing supernatural guys, I thought was like a perfect pastime on Halloween. And so yeah, I thought, this video would be quite fun. So as always, I'm not going to be including any spoilers as such, but what I consider spoilers and what you consider spoilers may not quite align. I will not be including any CGs, no plot spoilers or character spoilers. However, if you don't want to even know what the characters, look like, then I would swiftly move on. But anyway, let me start. So firstly, I'm going to talk about localized games. Now, the first one that sprung to mind has definitely got to be Cafe Enchante, and I'm sure a lot of you kind of expected this. In this game, basically, the main character, Otome, inherits this cafe from her grandfather, and initially, she thinks it's a normal cafe, but oh, how wrong she was. Basically, this cafe has like this door thing in the back, and it's kind of like a gateway to different worlds in which these non-human beings live in. So you've got the Headless Knight, which is like how Halloween can you get level character. You've got the Fire Beast, you've got the Fallen Angel, and then you've got like the great, sort of Dark Lord. I can't remember how they put it, but basically like a demon Dark Lord type person. And then you do get the 40-year-old that you wouldn't really expect in Otome games, but he's pretty cool too. Anyway, the focus is the 4 non-human characters. It's just, it's very Halloweeny because all these characters are the type of like things that you would dress up for when you go trick-or-treating. And you may be thinking like, a Headless Knight, how am I gonna find that cute or attractive or anything? And trust me, I felt that way as well. But he is surprising because he has like, so he hasn't got a head, but like this bit, there's like this fire thing going on. And basically, depending on his emotions, it changes colour. And one of the colour is pink, and it goes pink when he's embarrassed or shy. But I think it's really cute because you can tell how he's feeling. Like, he can't hide it because it just comes out as his flame. So you can tell that I really like the Headless Knight. He's called Canis, by the way. But yeah, so if you'd like to experience cafe life with a bunch of non-human allies, then this is the perfect game for you. However, a bit of warning, every person I've come across who's played this game was kind of like, oh, I thought it's gonna be like a cute game, but it got really emotional, and it is an emotional roller coaster. I think I cried a couple of routes, and a lot of people have cried because of this game, so just a warning. Play this game if you want to cry, type of thing. But anyway, the second game that came to mind was Ephemeral. At least that's how I think you pronounce it. And I have not played this game. However, I have kind of looked into it and I have heard of it quite a bit. It's a game about this main character who is a zombie, and she's, been living in this like confined zombie location. One day she gets an invitation to go to a school of supernatural beings such as, werewolves, mummies, vampires, that sort of thing. And yeah, so the main character's like, yeah, I want to know more than this little world that I've been living in. And so she goes to the school, and I guess the premise is that she gets to know these different characters, and you see them grow as a couple. And it just, again, it's Halloween, and mummies, werewolves, vampires, very Halloweeny, as I keep on saying. And I think it's a nice, sweet game. I've heard it's quite short, so maybe if you play it all day, you'll complete it quite quickly, I don't know. But it is a nice, sweet and short game if you feel like you don't want something too heavy, you just want something, that's like casual. I have heard it gets a little bit emotional as well, but another thing that I have heard that is good about it is that you can switch between languages. So if you're trying to learn Japanese, you can switch between Japanese and English, which obviously helps when you're trying to see how certain words are said in one or the other language. However, I have also heard that there are quite a few like grammatical errors in the English translation, so if that's going to really bother you, then I may stay away from it. And yeah, it was for the phone, so don't expect like a grandiose console Otome game. Now, the third one that came to mind is Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly. Now, this game is not necessarily Halloween-y, but like incredibly creepy, because the premise is that the main character wakes up in this pretty much haunted mansion. She doesn't remember anything. There are these like monster-like creatures that appear every now and then. And she's lost her memory, so she doesn't know what's going on, and then, you know, she ends up realizing she's locked in, there's nothing she can do, and she's just kind of stuck there. And it really does give her that eerie feeling, because obviously memory loss is already an eerie thing. You're stuck with the bunch of guys that she doesn't know anything about. And I think what's even creepier is the allies gradually start remembering things, but she doesn't, which means that, you know, they're remembering things and they're starting to act a bit oddly. But she hasn't remembered anything, so she is making her feel nervous, and it's this kind of almost claustrophobic, creepy feeling that you get when you're playing this game. And if I'm to be completely honest, I wasn't that into it when I first started playing it. Like a third way in, I was still kind of feeling like, I don't know what the fuss is about this game, because I've heard so many good reviews, but like it really wasn't, like it didn't gel with me. Is that the best way to put it? I don't know, but it just wasn't really my kind of thing. But I think it didn't help that I didn't follow a walkthrough, so I really suggest following a walkthrough, because you have like this flowchart, but if you go down like a random route, it just doesn't really coincide, so it's almost like you've got all these different like puzzle pieces that aren't quite working together. So I would suggest using walkthrough, and note that there are like these bonus stories that you have to complete to like continue on to the next part of the story, which did feel a bit disruptive for me. However, saying that, when I played it until the end, oh my gosh, like, you know, the fact that you gradually start remembering things and like it all comes together and falls into place, it was so emotional, and I'm really glad that I played it until the end, even though, you know, for the first third or almost half I wasn't really into it, but I'm glad I played it until the end. And honestly, I suggest you do so too, even if you're not enjoying like the first bit, because it is really fun. So yeah, that's the 3 localized games I had in mind. Now I've got an honourable mention, and the reason why I say it's an honourable mention and not a actual recommendation is because when I think of Halloween, I think of like the West, I think of like Western themes, like, you know, the pumpkin, the witches, vampires, like things that I sort of associate with the Western side of the world. However, the game that I'm about to mention is very Eastern. So the game I'm talking about is Hakuoki. Hakuoki is about a bunch of Shinsengumi who are samurais fighting during the Edo period. And you're probably thinking, how has this got anything to do with Halloween? It's historical fiction. Well, the reason why is because for various reasons, they kind of, some of them become a little bit like, almost like Japanese vampires, you could say, and there's some vampirism in there, and someone on my Discord kind of mentioned it and said that it's the kind of game they think of for Halloween, so I was like, okay, so maybe I'll quickly sort of mention it in this video as well. So yeah, note that it's separated into 2 games. You can get it on the PS Vita or on the PC. The very first one is called Kyoto Winds, and then the second half is Edo Blossoms. So make sure you play Kyoto Winds first, otherwise you're going to be a bit confused. Oh, and it does make you cry. Just a warning. I love it how every time I say these games, I'm like, it will make you cry. Like, oh god, I guess the creepy games are make you crying games. And one more that I want to mention, this is an indie game developed, and it's free, which is obviously good news to those who don't really want to buy a game just for Halloween. And it's called Colorful Mirai. Now the Colorful Mirai game itself isn't Halloween-ish. It's about a girl who is a painter but one day wakes up and can't feels like she can't feel the things she did and can't paint anymore. I have not played it, but the reason why I bring this up is because they've released a DLC. It's called, I think, the Spooky Edition or something, which is where on the way to an art exhibit she gets lost in the woods and ends up in like this creepy, I don't know, forest or something. Now I'll probably be actually playing it on my channel, so you know, if you don't want to play it, then obviously you can watch my videos, but it is free, so you might as well play it if you can, and I'll leave the link in the description below. And so that concludes my English Otome games I would suggest you playing in Halloween. Now, middle break time, commercial. Basically, my best friend has a gaming channel. It's called DD Jellybean Plays. And the reason why I mention her is because most of her Let's Play videos are horror games. And for people like me who, you know, want to watch like what happens in horror games but can't play it because they're too much of a scaredy cat, if you're like me, then it's a perfect channel because you can like watch her play it and it doesn't feel as scary, and also it's quite funny watching her jump and stuff. Gosh, I'm so mean. But yes, I would really recommend it. DD Jellybean Plays. Again, I'll put the link into the description, so please do check it out. It's really fun. And obviously her success is my success. Now, end of commercial. I don't know what I'm doing. End of commercial. Moving on. Now I'm going to be talking about the unlocalized games that I would suggest people play on Halloween. Now, the very first one that came to mind is Sweet Clown. Now, the reason why this came to mind is because of like the aesthetic of it. It looks really like it's got like candy and things, but you can clearly see that there's a little bit of a dark side to it. Not to mention, this is called a yamige in Japan, which is like a mess that you're gonna feel depressed game almost. And it's basically about the main character. He gets invited, I believe, to a tea party or something, and I can't remember why, but again, she gets locked up in the manor, surprise, surprise, with a bunch of absolutely crazy guys. And the beauty of this game is that all the guys are crazy, like they're all yanderes or messed up in the head, and if you're like me and you love characters like that, then this is the perfect game. Now, I have not played it yet, but I am really looking forward to playing it at some point. So yeah, that's one. Now the second one that comes to mind, and I think everyone may expect this, is Diabolic Lovers. Diabolic Lovers is a series actually, and the very first game in the series is called Haunted Dark Bridal, I believe, HDB for short, and it's available either on the PSP or in the PS Vita. Now, it's about these 6 vampire boys, and the main character, for various reasons, has to live with them, and they are all massive assholes. Like, honestly, they're so abusive. Like, if that makes you feel really uncomfortable, then I would definitely not go anywhere near it, because the premise is literally the main character gets bullied by these 6 vampire boys. They're constantly like trying to suck her blood and like being mean to her, and you actually watch it and you go, my god, why are you letting them do this to you, and why are you being nice to them? Like, it's the things you see, and you just, it's just, you can't help but be like, what is going on, you know? But again, if you aren't too, if you know, domestic abuse and things like that really makes you uncomfortable, then I would stay clear away from it. However, if you like messed up games, then it's definitely a game that I would add to your list, especially for Halloween. Now, third and not least, or last and not least even, is Dance with Devils. Now, I think I've mentioned this game a couple of times, whether it be on my streams or in like my other videos. But Dance with Devils is about this main character who, you know, as is always the case, living an ordinary life. One day, things happen and these devils keep on trying to get into her life because she has something special about her, like something special in her. Now, none of them know how to get hold of it. It's like scripture or something, but they don't know how to get hold of it. But they understand that if she trusts them, then obviously they can get hold of this thing that she has. So it's very much about the sort of this girl, you know, going to school and stuff, and then the devil's trying to like pretty much make her fall in love with them almost. But what's creepy about this game is some of the bad endings. Like, honestly, I haven't come across any bad endings that are this disturbing. And it's just because like, I'm not going to go into detail because that would be spoilers, but honestly, like, of all the Otome games I've played, and I have played a fair share of Otome games, so many of the endings, I was just looking at my screen like, what did I just see? You know, like, I'm just looking at it like, did that actually happen? So, you know, again, messed up endings I associate with Halloween, so Dance with Devils is a great game, and obviously it's also because it includes vampires and devils, and they're like kind of associated with Halloween, they're like Halloweeny, so yeah, so those are the unlocalized games that I would suggest you play on Halloween. And I think that is it. Yeah. Now, do let me know if there are other games that you feel are worth checking out that are very Halloween. I would love to see what you guys have to say, because I'm kind of looking into indie developers as well, because, you know, as much as I like the big companies, it's fun to see a game developed by a small group of individuals, because I often feel that there are differences in them that you don't quite get in the big company games. So, you know, if there are any that are Halloweeny, as I'm calling them, that you think I would enjoy, please do comment them down below. And yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I'll see you in another one of my videos. Bye!